Good morning, friends. So we have finished five chapters. Now we shall have a discussion on sixth chapter, electromagnetic induction. This is very interesting. Uh, the last five chapters, it's related one to one. Starting charges, its effects, fields and potentials. Next, moving charges inside the conductor. We have studied when charges moves, what happens, effects. What did you study when charge moving? That you have studied in current electricity. Clear? In that charges are moving, they are not static. When charges are moving inside conductors, what happens, how it behaves? So it offers resistance, conductivity and power loss. Okay, that you studied. And the next chapter, current carrying conductors, charges are moving. We studied outside the effect. Where did we study outside of the conductor? Clear? Then next chapter, magnetism and matter. So only there is a connection, magnetic moment. So moving charges develop a circulating charge. When an electron moving in a circular orbit, that behave like it has magnetic moment. So what did we study in moving charges and magnetism? If net magnetic moment is not zero, that material behave like a magnet. It exhibits magnetic properties that we have seen. And based on the magnetic moment property, means if the net magnetic moment is zero, that do not behaves like substances. Means substances which have net magnetic moment zero, that do not behaves like a magnets. This we named as diamagnetic materials, right? So what does it mean? Why I am saying these are all? See, these are all related, one-to-one relation. So next, this is what we will see now. That is electromagnetic induction. This chapter, it's very interesting. It's related to which moving charges and magnetism. Okay. When charges moves, magnetic field developed, that we studied. In this lesson, it's converse, means reverse. Why not magnetic fields develop electric field? This is the concept. So in olden days, people were believed electric and magnetic fields are separate. Okay, they believed. But after that, this Michael Faraday and Henry, they discovered this. Okay, so they have seen this relation. They noticed. They have done many experiments. So then they related. They concluded. What they concluded: the varying magnetic fields produces in a they produces EMF in a coils, circular coils. Clear? See, go back to moving charges and magnetism. Current carrying coils develops the magnetic field like a solenoid, toroid or current carrying conductor. There what happens? When current passes through the coil, when current passing through the conductors, what happened? Magnetic field developed. But in this, Michael Faraday, what did he say? What was his observation, experimental observation? Varying magnetic fields producing EMF in a coils. You already studied EMF. What is EMF? You in what is the current electricity you have studied? EMF is electromotive force. It's nothing but it is nothing but a battery. It is like a source of energy. It's source of current. So varying magnetic fields producing current. Previous chapter, current produced magnetic field. So interrelated. So after a long time, in 19th century, they discovered. And also interesting fact they given in the book. So what did they mention? The phenomenon in which electric current is generated by magnetic fields, appropriately called electromagnetic induction. Clear? What is that? A phenomenon in which electric current is generated by a varying magnetic fields is appropriately called electromagnetic induction. Clear? So, see, interesting fact. You people are need to understand the intention of the interest of and their passion about the physics. Okay. When a Faraday first made a public his discovery that relative motion between a bar magnet and wire loop produced a small current in the latter, he was asked, what is the use of it? One of the fellow who is observing, who is watching, he asked the Faraday, what was his question? What is the use of it? What is the use of it? So his experiment used, they asked. Then Faraday replied, what is the use of newborn baby? Clear? Right now you cannot understand, but if you think, you will understand. See, what is the use of newborn baby? Clear? The discovery of Faraday's this electromagnetic induction leads to develop a generator. Clear? Today, if power, so whatever the power generation is there, the hidden principle was Faraday's experiment, Faraday's principle. That's why he already, when he showing this experiment, he imagined the use of his experiment. That's why he replied like this, what is the use of newborn baby? Clear? So, after that, based on his principle, developments were modern days generators and transformers. Today, civilization is owes its progress in a great extent to the discovery of electromagnetic induction. Today we are enjoying cell phones. Today we are enjoying fast moving trains. Today we are enjoying electric LED lights, LED TVs. Clear? Of course, these are all not direct depend on electromagnetic induction, but they are working use of electromagnetic induction, right? So this was the introduction. Now you please read the textbook. You will come to know. If not understand, so you read the textbook. Now next we will see the experiments of Faraday and Henry. Clear? That we will see. Sixth chapter, electromagnetic induction. So in this first, the Faraday's demonstration, the experiments of Faraday's and Henry. The experiments of Faraday, not Friday, Faraday and Henry. Clear? So experiment number 1. This we do expect for 3 marks. Okay, important. Explain Faraday's experiment. Okay, there are 3 there. We will discuss that. We will now we will see the first one. Okay, it is coil magnet experiment. What is this? First experiment is what? Magnet and coil or coil and magnet experiment? Coil and magnet. Coil and magnet experiment. So the arrangement was it's a circular coil and both ends he was connected to galvanometer. What is the use of galvanometer? It shows the deflection when current flows. Oh, so using galvanometer, we will check current flow is there or not in a given circuit. So this is coil. What is this? Coil. Next, bar magnet. Which pole is coming towards the coil? North, south. So, field lines, these are the field lines. So, we are talking Faraday's and Henry's experiment, their observation. So now, when this magnet move towards the coil, what happens? Suppose this is the B, magnetic field. B is the magnetic field produced by the magnet. As it's move towards the coil, what happens? Field B, number of lines or B is increases in the coil. Am I correct or not? As magnet moves towards the coil, what happens? Field increases. Field increasing means what? Change in the magnetic field. So, when this magnet is in motion, what did they notice? There is a deflection in the galvanometer. What did they notice? When this magnet moving towards the coil, they notice deflection in the galvanometer. What does it mean? Galvanometer uses what? It's when current passes through galvanometer, it shows deflection. So in this experiment, it is showing deflection. What does that mean? There will be a current flow in a coil. I. Who produced this I? Varying magnetic field. Who varied the magnetic field? Magnet. Clear? When magnet move towards the coil, there will be a change in magnetic field or varying magnetic field that produced current I. And not only this part, not only this part. Next, first case is what? In motion. In motion means moving towards coil. Next one, they kept first case is motion. Second case without motion means they kept constant. They kept at rest. No motion. They kept the magnet rest. So not moving. When magnet is keeping rest, what will happen? The field crossing the coil remains constant. What did they notice? No deflection in the galvanometer. In this case, I is equal to 0. Clear? Understand? First, magnet moved towards the coil. They noticed the deflection. Next, they kept the constant magnet. They did not move the magnet. They noticed no deflection in the current. And third observation, first case they moved towards the coil, next they moved away. Third observation was what? They moved away. As soon as magnet moving away, what happened? B is decreases in the coil. First increased, next kept at rest. Then third case, moved away, field decreases, and they noticed there will be a deflection, but the last deflection was opposite to the deflection observed in the first case. Understand? When magnet moving away, field decreasing, there will be a deflection, but the deflection is opposite to the deflection observed in first case. Clear? So what all these three observations is saying, when magnet moves, when magnetic field varies the coil, there will be a current, there will be a EMF in a coil. Okay? So you may have a doubt. Not only one doubt, they are also done same. Instead of moving magnet, they move the coil towards and away. They noticed same observation, same deflection they noticed. Okay? Clear? Sir, why not, sir? Why don't so? They done same. Again observation was same. But deflection is opposite. But when the deflection is observed by keeping the north and the next deflection observed by keeping south, they are quite opposite. Because poles change. So whatever may be, or coil moving or magnet move, whatever may be. What did they notice? Deflection in a galvanometer. Towards and away. In both cases, deflections were opposite. But when keep rest, then we kept at rest, there is no deflection. So what does it mean, this observation? They noticed that there must be a relative motion between coil and magnet. Due to this relative motion, what is happening? There will be a change in magnetic field where in a coil. So until unless change the magnetic field in a coil, there is no deflection in a galvanometer. So until unless we change the magnetic field in a coil, there is no EMF in the coil. This was the first experiment. Clear? What is that coil and magnet? How do you write? Draw this figure. Okay? And start. When magnet move towards the coil, the field in a coil is increasing, and they notice the deflection in a galvanometer. Next observation, when the magnet moved away, the field in a coil decreased, then deflection observed in a galvanometer but in opposite direction. Next, they kept constant magnet, they noticed no deflection in a galvanometer. And the same observation was noticed by keeping magnet constant and moving coil. This is the first experiment. Now second experiment. So from first experiment, what did they conclude? It shows that it is the relative motion between the magnet and coil that is responsible for generation of electric current in the coil. What is that? The relative motion between magnet and coil is responsible for generation of current in the coil. This is experiment number 1. Now experiment number 2. What is that? Instead of magnet, what did they replace? With a coil. Only coil and coil. In this case, both are coil and coil. Clear? This coil is remained same. Instead of magnet, they used another coil. See that. So galvanometer. Next here they place another coil. This connected to a battery. Okay. happen? As soon as current flows this coil, this develops the magnetic field. This magnetic field, this coil develops magnetic field in this fashion. Clear, like this. Okay? So this coil is remains here, like first coil. Second coil, what happens? This develops the magnetic field. When current flowing through this, of course, no matter here how the magnetic field develops, what is the direction of current? The direction of magnetic field depends on the direction of the current. I am not concentrating on that. Clear? I am concentrating only on the experiment. So this is B. Now this is coil 1 and coil 2. So coil 2 acts like a magnet. Same concept. They notice you say when this coil approaching C1, coil 1, again there will be a deflection in the galvanometer. Again this moving away, deflection in a galvanometer, but in opposite in direction. Instead of keeping C1 constant, rest. Next, what did they do? They kept C2 constant and they moved C1 same. They noticed the same observation, deflection in a galvanometer. In this experiment also, what did they do? They tried to change the magnetic field in a coil. First coil. Same observation. Understand? From this also, what do we conclude? What is that? The relative motion between coil, which develops the magnetic field, and the normal coil develop the EMF, or change in magnetic field in this coil is developing EMF. So this is current direction. So don't worry about direction, that we will see in the coming discussions. What is the direction of the currents? Okay. What did you observe from these two? So these two experiments, they did change in magnetic field, varying magnetic field they developed. Then induced EMF they noticed in another coil. Clear? Next, third experiment. This is also coil, but this is it's different. Why this is different? You will see. Again, here two coils are there. This is C1, like first one and in first experiment and second experiment, like first and second experiment. Another coil also there, like second experiment. Key we need to this is key. Already I explained about key. If that is there, key is on. That is not there, key is open. Okay. Now this is the axis of the coils. What is this axis of the coils? Now key is open. So they got doubt. Like you only. In two experiments, first and two, there was a relative motion between coil and magnet and coil and coil. In first experiment, relative motion between coil and magnet. Second experiment, relative motion between coil and coil. Okay? So, they have a doubt. Is it necessary relative motion between coils? For that, to get the clarity, okay, to have an answer for that, they did this experiment. What did they do? Two coils kept at same level, side by side. Clear? Actually, these faces not like this. These coils are like this. Their faces are their planes are facing each other, not like this. They are like this. Okay. Now, what did they do? They switched on. As soon as switched on momentarily, then what happened? Current will flows. Immediately magnetic field develops that will process this coil, magnetic field. Then, as soon as they switched on the key, instantly, momentarily, they notice a deflection in the coil, and they kept key continuously. They pressed key continuously. What happened? There will be a steady current. Then that will be developed the magnetic field. Magnetic field crossing the coil remains same. If keep the key, we kept the key like that. Okay, if for certain time, what happens? Steady current will develop. That steady current will flow. That develops magnetic field. Then B is not changing. Then what did they notice? The momentarily there was a deflection when they kept the key. Then after some time in the sense, immediately the deflection, there was no deflection. When if we keep the key, if they kept the key continuously, next they noticed as soon as they remove the key from this, what happened? Immediately current will be 0, then field will be 0. Immediately before there was a field, as soon as we remove the key, what happened? Field becomes 0. There will be a change in field. Momentarily they notice a deflection in the galvanometer, but in opposite direction. So there was two observations. As soon as key pressed, momentary deflection. As soon as key removed, momentary deflection. They noticed they kept key, they pressed the key continuously, means they kept key for a long time. In that case, they noticed no deflection in the coil. Clear? So what is happening as soon as key is pressing and removing? What is happening? In that two instant, there will be a change in magnetic field in another coil. As soon as key is on, power on, switch on, immediately magnetic field develop. Before switch on, there is no magnetic field in the coil. As soon as switch on, there will be a magnetic field. There is a change in magnetic field. Then momentarily deflection. As soon as key removed, again magnetic field becomes 0. Then there will be a change in magnetic field. Then momentarily deflection. Deflection is there in the galvanometer momentarily. Clear? So, what does that mean for this experiment? Previous two, first two, there was relative motion, but in this there is no relative motion. But they have done varying magnetic field, switching on and switching off. Right? And they noticed also in first two experiments, if a relative motion is very fast, and they noticed two experiments I am saying I was forgot. When the relative motion is very fast, and they noticed deflection in more deflection in the galvanometer. That all we will see in the next description. Clear? So do understand this. I hope you all understand this concept. Only thing is switch on, deflection, switch remove, deflection. Between, if we keep the switch on continuously, there is no deflection. Because varying magnetic field remains, there is no variation in the magnetic field when we keep kept the key continuously, right? So this is the third experiment. First experiment, it's saying relative motion. That relative motion changes the magnetic field. In the third experiment, there is no relative motion, but making switching on and switching off. By doing switching on and switching off, there will be a change in magnetic field. Ultimately, on all three experiments, the change in magnetic field produced EMF. Understand? The changing or varying magnetic field produced the EMF in coil C1. Right? This is the third experiment. Now, we will see Faraday's law of induction. Before to understand Faraday's law of induction, we need to know magnetic flux. What is that? Magnetic flux. Magnetic flux. This is phi b. Okay. It is just like an electric flux. We are see what is flux generally. It is number of lines passing through area, through unit area. If it is electric field lines, electric flux. If it is magnetic field lines, magnetic flux. It is to say this definition is very simple, but we need to say one important point. The lines must pass us perpendicular to its plane. Clear? Lines has to move perpendicular to plane or parallel to area vector. In definition, what we said, number of lines passing through unit area we mentioned. So that unit area vector. So that lines must pass us through normal to the plane or parallel to the area vector. Then only the definition is correct. Then, if you take the magnetic field lines like this, if I draw a plane like this, okay, area vector is like this. This plane has area A, this is magnetic field B. Clear? So, in this case, how do we write magnetic flux? General formula phi B is equal to BA cos theta. Or in dot product form, phi B is equal to B dot A. Okay? So, in this figure I have drawn perpendicular to the plane or parallel to the, this is area vector, let us say n cap. That is normal to the plane and parallel to the magnetic field line. Suppose if I draw, field lines are remains same. Field lines are remain same. If I draw plane like this, area vector acts like this. Am I correct? This is n cap. This is area of the plane. In this case, what is the angle? We will take the angle between area vector and magnetic field line theta. What will happen in this case? Theta will be 0. But we cannot say in this case theta is 0. It is making certain angle. So what do we do in this? To find this magnetic, to find the magnetic flux through this area, we will make it area along. We will turn this plane like this. To make it turn, what? Resolve this area component. This area component resolve this area vector. Then what will happen component? That will become A cos theta. B is remains same. Sir, why don't I resolve area into B vector? Why don't I B along? You can do, no problem. If you take it B along the area, again that will be, what will happen? B cos theta. Ultimately, flux will be BA cos theta. Clear? So, theta is the angle between magnetic field and area vector. What is the definition? Magnetic flux. The number of lines passing through perpendicular to the plane of unit area is called magnetic flux. So we do expect one more question. What are the units? Phi B, Tesla, meter, square. Clear? Directly you can write. Okay? So this is about magnetic flux. And if we have a large area, then what do you do? If we suppose we have a area like this, field lines are passing like this. In that case, What do? We will construct a small area like this. Okay, this makes an angle theta. Okay, then the small flux, that is what, delta phi B is equal to, we take a small area, that is delta, yes, so B dot delta, yes. To get total flux, what do? We will sum R delta, the summation B dot delta, yes. So all, take all small areas and you will find small flux. You add that, we will get total magnetic flux through this given area. Clear? So make a note on this. In the last discussion we have seen Faraday's, no. We have seen magnetic flux, phi B, right? Phi B. Phi B units, what did I say? Tesla meter square, another one is Weber. WB. Weber or ampere meter square is a scalar quantity. Flux is a scalar quantity. Now come to Faraday's law of induction. Very important. We do expect in 1 mark, 2 mark, okay, in competitive also. Faraday's law of induction. Faraday's law of induction. So in all three experiments, Faraday and Henry experiments, what did they notice? What did they do? They changed the magnetic field. Okay? And we also understood that change in magnetic field producing currents are EMF. Now we will see, that is Faraday's law. Faraday's law is varying magnetic field in a coil develops the EMF. That is Faraday's law. In this further statement, we will see the mathematical equation. Clear? So in a coil, magnetic field is varying, decreasing or increasing, no matter. Varying means always don't think that increase. Don't confine to only increase. Decrease also varying. Understand? So this coil has area A, this is magnetic field B. So magnetic field are passing through area or crossing the area. Crossing means don't think otherwise. It is flowing through the area. So what do you say? There will be a flux in a coil. Am I correct or not? So which is saying very magnetic field nothing but change in magnetic flux. So the change in magnetic flux in a coil produces EMF. So that EMF is directly proportional to change in magnetic field relation. So according to statement, we will write mathematical, given Faraday itself given statement and mathematical equation. That statement was the magnitude of the induced EMF in a circuit is equal to time rate of change of magnetic flux through the circuit. Right? This is a statement of the Faraday. What do you write? The magnitude of induced EMF in a circuit is equal to time rate of change of magnetic flux through the circuit. Time rate of change of magnetic flux nothing but change in the rate of change. Clear? So how do we write mathematically? Induced EMF we denote with this letter. E is equal to d phi b by dt. Minus sign is there. Okay, the negative sign indicates the direction of EMF and hence the direction of current in a closed loop. You will come to know why this negative sign comes. Okay. So what is the statement? Magnitude of induced EMF in a circuit or a coil is equal to, in a circuit or a coil is equal to time rate of change of magnetic flux through the circuit. This is a mathematical equation. For a single coil, this equation is correct. If it has a number of coils, capital N, then what would be the equation? This will be E is equal to minus N into d phi B by dt. Okay. Phi B ಏನು BA cos theta. Okay, so to achieve required EMF, this EMF is dependent on number of turns. If number of turns increases, EMF increases. This rate of change of magnetic flux increases, EMF increases. This phi B is a BA cos theta. If B increases, EMF is increases. A increases, EMF increases. A decreases, EMF decreases. Theta angle, instead of keeping the, what we have done, 1, 2, 3 experiments, we kept the coil constant, we changed the magnetic field. Now, if you keep the magnetic field as this, if you rotate about this axis, again there will be a change in magnetic flux in a coil. Means theta changes, flux changes, EMF changes. It's depend on N, B, A and theta. Clear? If R increases, EMF increases. R decreases, EMF increases. So based on the question, we will select the formula. So example problem 6.1 theoretical questions, you can answer that. Come to 6.2. Example problem 6.2. A square loop of side L, side 10 centimeter, L is equal to 10 centimeter, and resistance 0.5 ohm is placed vertically in a east-west plane. What is the resistance of the given wire? R is equal to 0.5 ohm. So here I am drawing their directions. This is east, west, north, south in this plane. What did they do? They placed vertically east-west direction. East-west direction means like this. They placed like this. East west, east to west. This is north south, east to west. Now square, not a rectangle, but I have drawn like that. That is square. A uniform magnetic field 0.10 Tesla is set up. B is equal to 0.10 Tesla. Set up across the plane in the northeast direction. Northeast direction means this is east west, right? In this is dotted line is what? North south. In this direction, northeast means in this direction. Okay, clear? Now northeast direction. The magnetic field decreased to 0 in 0.7 seconds. T is equal to how many seconds? 0.7. At the study rate, determine the magnitude of induced EMF and the current through the current during this time interval. Okay. Now, what do we find? We will follow this one. So we need to find change in flux. First, we need to find flux. What is phi B formula? BA cos theta. So area we need to find. Already they given length. Length is equal to 10 into 10 power minus 2 meter. This is a square. Square area formula L square, or if you take it length A, that will be A square. Now L square is what? 100 into 10 power minus 4 meter square. We already given. Now this is the field direction. Am I correct? Clear? Area vector we need to take area vector. We need to take angle between area vector and field. Clear? So when we keep the plane like this in east-west direction, area vector act what in the north direction. Clear? Or south direction. Understand? So if you take in the north direction, so here area vector acting in north direction. Clear? Field is acting northeast. What is the angle between them? North and east 90 degree, but field is acting between north and east. It is 45. So theta from the figure, theta is equal to what? 45 degree. Then phi b, what is that? B is 0.1 into area 100. This 100 into 10 power minus 4. 100 into 10 power minus 4 cos 45. 1 by root 2 theta is equal to here. Theta is equal to 45. 1 by root 2. This we can write. So 0.1. Remove this will become minus 5. 2 zeros goes. So this is 1 into 10 power minus 3 by root 2. This is phi b. We require change in magnetic field delta phi. Okay, delta phi. Phi 2 minus phi 1. This is first case. Phi 2. This is first case. This you take it phi 1, phi 2. Phi 2 be a cos theta. Okay, not a is not changing, theta is not changing. What is changing? Field changing. Next time what happened? Field will become 0. Field becomes 0. This will be 0. Clear? Initially field is there in 0.7 seconds. In 0.7 seconds, what happened? Field will become 0. Then delta phi 2 minus phi 1. Okay, phi 2 is 0 minus phi 1 is what? 10 power minus 3 by root. Clear? Understand? Now come to our formula. What is that induced EMF formula? E is equal to minus n d phi by dt. How many coils are there? Only one coil. N value is 1. Then E is equal to minus of what is that? D phi by dt. D phi b is nothing but change. This will be minus of minus 10 power minus 3 by root 2 dt. Change in time is to in how many seconds? Field 0, 0.7 seconds. So this is 0.7. Minus minus cancel. If we do this, we will get the answer. This is around 1 into 10 power minus 3 volt, millivolt. We got EMF. What did they ask? Current they asked. They given resistance of the wire. We calculated EMF. What is the relation? EMF and resistance. E is equal to I, or I is equal to E by R. Don't confuse here. E, see, I written here delta phi. Actually, this we can write like this also. Delta phi b by delta t. Nothing wrong. Small changes are there. We will write on time. We will write d phi. For long time, we will write delta t. Means time is more. We will write delta t. On time is d phi. Already we have seen this many conversions. Dx by dt, delta x by delta t. Clear? Like that. So d phi b here is change in magnetic field by change in time. Change in time is to 0.7. Change in flux already calculated. Initial flux, this is final flux. Final flux is 0. Reason? Magnetic field is 0. In 0.7 seconds, field will become 0. If field becomes 0, there is no flux through this plane. What replace this one? Clear? Then phi 2 0. Change in flux phi 2 minus phi 1. Then we have done. Substitute here. We E already calculated, R already given. Substitute. Then this is 1 into 10 power minus 3 by 0.5. Okay. So this substitute R we can write. This is 5 by 10. 5 by 10, then 10 comes up, 10 power into 10 power minus 2. 1.5, 1 by 5 is what? 0.2. So 0.2 into 10 power minus 2 or 2 into 10 power minus 3 ampere, milliampere. Understand? So make a note on this. Next example problem 6.3. A circular coil of radius 10 centimeters, 500 turns, and resistance 2 ohm is placed with its plane perpendicular to the horizontal component of Earth's magnetic field. It is rotated about a vertical diameter through 180 degree in 0.25 seconds. Estimate the magnitude of EMF and current induced in the coil. Horizontal component of Earth's magnetic field at the place is 3 into 10 power minus 5. Circular coil they mention radius given R is equal to 10 centimeter, 10 into 10 power minus 2 meter. Next, number of turns, N is equal to 500. Then resistance R is equal to 2 ohm. Place its plane perpendicular to the horizontal component of Earth's magnetic field. It is rotated by vertical diameter through 180 degree. So theta 1 is equal to 0, theta 2 is equal to 180. In how many seconds? Delta t is 0.25 seconds. And horizontal component B given, BH actually we are taking as a B, 3 into 10 power minus 5 Tesla. What they are asking? Current and induced EMF and I are asking. So same what we need to find, first delta phi b, that is phi 2 minus phi 1. This is how do we write? BA cos theta 2 minus BA cos theta 1. Clear? So BA cos theta 2 we know 180 minus BA cos 0. This is BA common, minus 1 minus 1. Cos 180 minus 1, cos 0 1. This will be minus 2 BA. So delta phi B is equal to minus 2. What is B value given? 3 into 10 power minus 5. What is area? They given circle. Circle means circular area is what? Pi r square. Pi r square. Clear? Now this value substitute in, what is the formula? E is equal to minus delta phi b by delta t. This minus and this minus cancel. We will get r becomes of minus 2 into 3 into 10 power minus 5 into 3.14 into r is to 10 into 10 power minus 2 whole square by what is delta t? 0.25. Substitute you will get E. Once you get E, how do you get I? I is equal to E by R. Already calculated in the textbook. See, why I am saying these are all reason in NEET 2020. There are 37 questions from books only, first PU book and second PU book. 37 questions. 37 into 4. Imagine 148. Out of 180, 148 have come from textbook directly. Some numericals are changed, that's not a big issue. So that's why practice carefully, read textbook.